What's up, fam? Welcome to Off the Reservation, a show that wants to remind you that we are fun guys. I'm your number one wizard, Mal.
I'm El.
And I'm the Soda Picasso.
And on today's episode, we have a very special guest with us, guys. Let's give it up for Estevan
What up,
Hernandez.
Al?
Yes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome,
we're excited to
welcome.
have a special guest because Estevan is actually the owner, operator, and of NM
Grand
Fungi.
Poobah.
What's
Yeah,
that?
the Grand Poobah.
Yeah,
Grand Poobah.
exactly. Yeah, as known around his office.
It's the
Call
sign
him
on
the
my door.
head portobello.
But we're excited because we're gonna bring you guys a little bit of information when it comes to mushrooms
Mushrooms.
and
Mushrooms in the mushroom business.
Mushrooms and mushroom
Figure
accessories.
out what the fungus is all about. But yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. But first, we've got a couple of our little news clippings this week.
Newsies.
Yeah.
Oh, I just did
have
it
to-
over again.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're good.
We'll just cut that out. Malachi being awkward.
Newsies.
Anyways, so today in the news, well, not today, but earlier this week, there was a Chinese man who had lost control of his hydrogen balloon while picking pine nuts with a colleague. And yeah, apparently he lost control of it. His buddy was able to bail out, but he got stuck and was lost for 3 days. And in the process, his balloon traveled 186 miles. In the news article, they did it in kilometers, but thankfully they were
I'm super confused at how that happened. Wait,
Yeah.
what was he doing? Something with pine nuts?
he was harvesting them.
Oh, he was harvesting. He was using the balloon to get elevation to harvest. That doesn't seem
Yeah.
like it makes any sense.
How pissed would you be at your friend that bailed out? I'd be like, bro, we're in this together. Like we're going together. I don't care.
That's some pretty Dr. Seuss way about going collecting some stuff.
that's totally right, man. I agree. That's very Seussian in the attempt there.
Well, I think the thing that the thing about it that caught my attention was the fact that in New Mexico, it's coming to October. We're going to be having all these dudes flying around in hot air balloons. And I'm
yeah.
I thought you were going to say selling pinions.
To say picking pinions. Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, that's where I was going to go with that whole thing. It's we could be using this whole industry for a whole other reason.
I feel like the premise was just flawed from the beginning. Why would I use?
Apparently it's a big business because these guys aren't the only ones who've lost control of the balloon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, in China apparently. But yeah, I'm just.
Well, we
saying.
have ladders,
How tall are these?
Yeah, I guess maybe that's
Really,
the question: is how tall are these trees?
That's a good question.
All
I'm
right,
not
people.
sure.
We need you guys, all the fans, need to look this up. Fact check for us.
Yeah.
Anytime we pick pinion, you just go from the bottom and shake it.
Shake
you know?
it, yeah.
Gravity does all the work for you. You don't have to go up there.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So the guy's okay though.
He
made it
got
out?
rescued 3 days later.
3 days later. Jeez.
And-
He survived off pine nuts.
Probably.
All the oils.
He was very cleaned out afterwards. I was yeah. Anyways, but yeah, apparently he was quoted as saying, "I almost gave up," by Mr. Who. Yeah.
Oh.
HU, not WHO.
Oh, okay. I was like, is that a? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
All right. All right.
All
All
right.
right. What else happened this week?
So
what's going on in the world?
I think as important as Mr. Who is getting lost in his balloon, the biggest thing that happened this week was the Queen has passed.
Yeah.
The Queen's ring.
Queen of England has
Queen
passed
of
away.
England.
What was her official title? Queen Elizabeth of something?
Somewhere over
Well,
the,
she's the
seas.
third.
I'm American, dude. I don't.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
There's only so many documentaries I could watch on them. Here's the thing that's been my issue is this whole situation is I have spent most of my educational career learning about Western civilization and all the monarchies, the people who came to rule, all that kind of stuff. And I have no recollection of anyone's titles, who they were. I know there was a dude, Philip, and I think he was in France. And there was a lady named Antoinette, and she wanted people to eat cake, and then eventually got her head cut off.
Yeah.
So Queen Elizabeth, I mean,
I have to say the only queen that I fuck with is the queen bee, Beyonce. Like that's the only queen.
Yes,
I fuck with.
queen. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Just considering at least for Indigenous peoples and people of color, the way things
I feel about
migrated here.
Yeah, I feel about it the same way I felt when they saw the Notre Dame Cathedral go up in flames. I'm like, yeah. I'm indifferent.
It's hard though. It's hard to not appreciate or I guess respect what they achieved. And even with like the cathedral, it's like it's a masterpiece, right? If it was built in different times, right, it still might be considered a masterpiece, right? But there's a lot of like extra baggage that comes with it that almost kind of negates or like really just like makes it hard to want to say like, oh, that's amazing. It's like, yeah. Anyways,
You just make that face. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's like Larry David face.
Well, I mean, like I equate it to she has been the pinnacle, the staple of Europeanness, Britishness.
Europeans.
I don't know what you call it, but British. You think of like Great Britain, you're like, the Queen. You got her on all the coins, you got her on all the money.
Yeah, I heard a statistic the other day that they said that like I think 70% of all Britons like grew up under her rule.
Yeah.
So like that's crazy to think about like a lifespan. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's
yeah.
And I think
it's
we
a pretty
wanted
heavy
to take
achievement. 70 years on the throne.
I don't.
You
come back to me. I'm the militant. I'm like, I'm like,
Look like a pretty soft seat to me.
I mean, my record has been like 2 hours on the throne, so you know what I mean.
Oh God. Okay. All right. You know what? Yes. Okay.
You get my phone in there, I can go an extra hour.
I think that might be good. Let's take
the charger. Forget about it.
I think that it's what it. Yeah. It is what it is, and yeah. All right. Let's take a quick break, and then we're gonna regroup, and we're gonna introduce you guys a little bit more to Stavi here, and talk a bit about his business and all of the knowledge that he has for us. So
looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back.
And we're back, and it was good.
Yeah,
it was a
good
tasty
break.
Jam.
Yeah, I hope you guys got something to drink, or
Dr. Pibb.
Dr. Pibb.
Dr. Pibb.
Dr. Pibb.
I'm gonna bring it up until it becomes a thing.
Yeah. Well, I say wait, real quick. Where do you stand, Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb, or neither?
I mean, so when I was in kindergarten, I had a Mr. Pig backpack. Remember when they used to have the "Pour it in your ear" slogan? I had a backpack, and it was this weird, like Gonzo-looking cartoon, and it was this guy pouring Mr. Pibb in his ear, and it says "Pour it in your ear." I don't know why. That was their ad campaign when they first did a bunch of advertising in the 90s.
That is
boom, Mr. Pibb.
Yeah, so
Mr. Pibb.
Pig,
We got
Pig gang.
The 90s is how they did advertising, man. That was some weird stuff back then.
Right.
Kind of got the point across, I guess, right?
That's two for Mr. Pibb.
Well, so hey, if you guys are just tuning in, or you skipped that first part because you didn't want to hear any more about the Queen, that's totally fine. We're here with Stavi, our good friend Stavi, and let's see, we've got some applause for you. I think. Yeah, here we go.
Thank you, too kind.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
Studio audience.
From our live studio audience, yeah. We're here with Stavi. He is the owner and operator of a local business here in Albuquerque, NM Fungi. So
nice.
Thanks for coming on, man. We were excited.
Hey, my pleasure, gang. Thanks for having me.
I guess the way we want to kind of get into this is really just tell us a little bit about you, a little bit about your business and how you got started.
Absolutely. So as I'm sure many of you can agree, mycology is something that's not really discussed in public schools, especially here in New Mexico. Like I knew nothing about mushrooms. I didn't even know that they were different from plants, by the time I'd graduated high school.
Yeah.
And so a lot of my learning was entirely self-taught. I've always had this fascination with sort of clandestine knowledge or like underground knowledge, things you're not supposed to know,
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of research on mushrooms when I first got into college. All different kinds of mushrooms, not just, gourmets, edibles, psychedelics, medicinals, everything. It's really a whole wide world. It's literally an entire kingdom, even more biodiverse, arguably, than animals or plants. So a lot of my knowledge being self-taught, following the deep rabbit holes of YouTube. There's a lot of the cool thing about mycology is it's very much a citizen science field. While there are a lot of very respected professionals that hold high degrees and levels of accreditation, some of the most famous players in the mushroom world are folks like me who have like unrelated bachelor's degrees and are just following this as a passion. Like, Paul Stamets, arguably the biggest man in mushrooms right now, had a bachelor's degree in logging science. And, is now the godfather of modern mushroom knowledge. So it's very much a citizen science field, which I think is awesome. We all have the ability to learn in this digital age, anything we want to learn, really. Yeah. So I've always been very big on learning that sort of stuff. Primarily just growing at home, having some tasty food to grow. I like to be able to pick it and eat it. You know what I mean? Doing that for the past 5-6 years. And just had a really good opportunity last year during the pandemic to start up a business. And it was nice because I'm not really a retail-facing business, you know what I mean? I'm more B2B, where I'm selling primarily to restaurants. It's my biggest customers. So meeting the local restaurant scene has been super privileged in its own right. We have a lot of really talented chefs here in Albuquerque alone, and I'm meeting new ones every day. And just spreading the good word about mushrooms at the farmers market now, too. And
See, I think New Mexico has really stepped up its food game.
Absolutely.
I think that in the last 6 years, I think that the chefs here are really just elevating those home cooked meals that we all grew up on and taking it to that next level.
Absolutely.
And it's cool to see those ingredients.
Well, I think it's been really cool because for out of New Mexico, I think of our staple is like green chili chicken enchiladas, and how it can go from the simple the ones we grew up with, the shredded chicken and everything. All of a sudden you're getting organic, homegrown, homemade foods,
free range
chickens and stuff like that. And all of a sudden you're seeing the elevation of these New Mexico traditional dishes being elevated with with growers like yourself and people who are willing to produce.
Absolutely. And a lot of these chefs out here, they're very intelligent, scientifically minded folks. And that's what food is, right? It's like science and art combined. Yeah. I've been learning all about this, big area that they talk about called the gastronomy, where it's the idea of deconstructing food down to base flavors and nutrients and recombining them. And the fusion food scene here is unreal. I don't know if you've ever had for example, Korean street tacos, just these fusion foods that you would never see anywhere 10, 20 years ago that are popping up, taking flavors from all around the world and combining them. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well,
go ahead. Go. You go.
Good, sir. Go ahead.
I'll go ahead and go. So what I always thought was cool about New Mexico, and it's one of those common threads around the world, is it always seems like food of the people always gets reinvented with the next generation, and traveling all over the world, eating the food of the people, not of the higher class, you know what I mean, but really eating just what they eat, the beans and rice, your wife was talking about, or I'm sorry, was it your wife or your girlfriend?
My girlfriend.
Okay. So, but she was talking about how you guys made the food packets.
Yeah, the backpacking meals.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that just idea is just an amazing idea, know.
Yeah.
So
it's it's continuously ever evolving, and thanks to people like Stavi, that
will you tell some of the viewers about
yeah. So we make a couple different pre-prepared meal options. We started out a line this year of originally ramen blends, and they feature our dried mushrooms that we grow and dry at our facility, and then we use kombu, which instead of salt, kombu is sea kelp, and it's a good natural source of sodium and iodine. And the whole idea is we wanted to design a packet that could replace that chemical salt packet you get with ramen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever spilt it on the ground, but I've seen bugs eat it and die. There's some serious chemistry going on in those packets, and so you wanted something a little more natural. You know what I mean? And I've always been about the gourmet ramen game, right? I thought it was pretty cool dropping an egg in my ramen when I was going to college, but this is kind of the next evolution of that. You know what I mean? Dried mushrooms in there, some kombu. We make all kinds of awesome flavors. You got to have the red chili and green chili variants, here. But we do we have a zesty ginger, a masala with all the Indian spices, a Korean barbecue with dried pineapple in there.
Oh, that's cool.
And so we've taken the next step now, and we've turned those ramen blends into full-on backpacking meals, where we're actually adding dehydrated and freeze-dried ingredients like rice and beans and potatoes. And they're really awesome. So when you're camping, all you need is hot water. You pour it in the packet and let it sit for about 5-10 minutes, depending on the variant. And you got a full meal right there.
Wow.
You know who you need to link up with? We've been watching behind the scenes when we were shooting at the old studio. We'd be eating and watching Camping with Steve. Have you ever watched him?
No.
He does stealth camping videos, and like
I think I know who you're talking
he'll
about.
be like out in the middle of like a tree stand, like in the middle of an interchange, right?
Yeah.
And like he'll make like some gourmet meal, like. But that's who you got to link up with. Like,
Heck
I
yeah,
can
man.
totally see that.
Steve, if you're watching, I'll send you a pack. Give me your
Steve.
info.
Steve, we'll have to shout out Steve. Yeah. All right. So when did you launch your business?
So we officially opened in May of last year. So we've been doing it for about a year and a half now. All indoor farm. It's kind of weird calling it a farm. I don't even know what to call it. Sometimes I call it a farm, facility, warehouse. Anyways, it's a big indoor warehouse space. We actually grow inside of tents because... I'm sure if you've noticed living here in New Mexico, you don't really have mushrooms growing in your front yard.
Right.
This isn't really the ideal climate for a lot of the mushrooms we're growing. And as it is, a lot of the mushrooms we're growing aren't really native to here. So we have to kind of replicate their native habitats and where they're coming from in an indoor setting.
Yeah. Cool. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break from the YouTube. But guys, we're actually trying something different now. We're going to be doing some extended episodes available to you guys. If you want to check those out, they're actually going to be available through Patreon. So the audio, we're going to keep going. We're going to have a little bit more of this conversation with Stavi, and then we'll be back for the next segment here in a little bit. So thank you for all you guys. Check us out on Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Elle. Just wanted to say thanks for tuning into the show. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe. And remember, do or do not, there is no try, okay? So just do it. It's that easy. All right, back to the show. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks.
And we're back with Stavi and his not magic mushrooms.
Magic in another way.
They're wonderful mushrooms.
In a tasty way.
Tasty mushrooms.
No, guys, we are back with Stavi. You gotta stop him because he'll just keep going.
Yeah, I'll just keep.
If we don't stop him, he'll just eat the time up. But hey, can you hit that little button?
Oh yeah, buttons.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to start that.
We have a lot of buttons to press on this show, and we like to take a shout out to our sponsors. The button, the ultimate button, the button,
Big button,
the big red button,
the big button.
Yeah, they're a sponsor.
Are we sponsored by Office Depot? That was easy. No, easy. We're not. We're not. But we would like to. So Office Depot, if you're listening,
get some mushrooms.
We need some staplers.
DM us.
DM us and contact us
copy
about
paper.
mushrooms and
ink cartridges.
But guys, for all of you who were listening on, who subscribed to our Patreon, you got a little bit more in-depth discussion about Stavi and his business, how he operates here in New Mexico, which again I think is extremely interesting because it's not something that people generally think of. You think of mushrooms, you think of what comes in the grocery store, and that's kind of it.
And we kind of did.
We
talk about
established,
that.
they're kind of slimy,
gross,
and that's not mushrooms, So
that's like commercial mushrooms.
Yeah, man, it's commercialized, man. So what we want to do though,
it's the man's mushrooms.
Yeah, we wanted to take a second. Well, tell us a little bit about some of your products, Stavi, because we talked a little bit about the business side, but tell us now about the actual stars of the.
Absolutely. So I brought a couple different types of oyster mushrooms that we grow here. Oyster mushrooms are some of the most popular consumed mushrooms all across the world. And we really do have a world offering here. From North America, we have our blue oyster mushrooms right here. Nice, really meaty mushroom. It's not really blue. It's more of like a silverish gray. They're actually indigo blue when they're young. A really thick, meaty mushroom. Just lots and lots of flavor in there. Very meat-like. Then we have our pink oyster mushrooms, Pleurotus jamor, which are native to Indonesia. They're a subtropical mushroom, so we only grow them now in the summer. and they are this really pretty bright pink on there. And when you cook them, it is almost impossible to tell the difference between those and pork meat. The texture, the taste, the chewiness, they kind of have like a simulated fattiness to them when you chew on them.
Nice.
It's very much a pork-like mushroom. And finally, we have our golden oysters, which are a really soft, delicate mushroom. These ones are native to northern China, southern Russia, and have been naturalized here in the U.S. in the last 10 years.
That's cool.
Really tasty mushroom, more of a delicate one, kind of like a soft cashew flavor on it. I'm an avid fisherman, so anytime I catch trout, I'm always cooking them with these ones. I think that's probably the best pairing for those guys. Absolutely.
Oh, really? Trout.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Heck yeah. And then finally over here on the end, we have these wild-looking guys. These are known as reishi mushrooms, Ganoderma multipilium. They've been a staple of traditional Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years, known as lingzi, or the mushroom of immortality. Hate to break it to y'all, they're not going to make you immortal. I've tried. But they are really, really good for our immune system. They have some really unique constituents in them, like ganodermic acid and polysaccharides like beta-glucans, a bunch of vitamins, phenolic antioxidants. Really, the big benefit we're getting from these mushrooms is a boost to our immune system. Okay. So they actually... They're not going to supplement our immune system or do anything magical or mysterious. It really is scientifically analyzed in that they actually boost our body's white blood cell production.
Oh, nice.
Which white blood cells, those are like our body's frontline soldiers when it comes to fighting off everything from an infection from a cut to the common cold. So boosting our immune systems is always beneficial to us.
So, I mean, you were telling us a little bit earlier, right, reishi, and even just feeling it, it's very stiff.
It's very brittle and wood-like mushroom, not really edible.
Not edible. Okay, so what do people? How does it used? I guess is that what that's what.
Yeah, so traditionally they're either brewed into teas or made into tinctures or made into some sort of extract is the common way of doing, because we can't really physically eat the mushroom.
Okay.
So at our farm, we actually make this extract, reishi extract. It's a 2-part extraction that we do using organic grain alcohol and water in 2 stages. I actually use a really cool piece of a chemistry apparatus known as a Soxhlet extractor, which is like a continuous loop extractor that basically boils and distills either water or alcohol and runs it through the mushrooms and actually pulls out all those beneficial alkaloids, vitamins, minerals, everything out of there.
Man, you are like the real deal, dude. Like you've got you guys have the setup. You know what I mean? You guys.
Thank you.
It's awesome to know that you guys are at a professional level of production here. It's neat. Because I remember seeing the beginnings, and I was blown away then, but you guys have skyrocketed so much with the products you guys are doing, and just the the relationships you're making with restaurants. I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys, and you guys are making some really good quality products. One that I wanted to talk about for sure, which we don't have out here, but lion's mane. Tell us about lion's mane.
The elusive lion's mane. I would have brought y'all some. It really is my most popular mushroom. They're all pretty much sold before I even pick them off the block. They're just super high demand. So first of all, they're an amazing culinary mushroom because they're a really, really unique protein source to work with. So first of all, they peel apart kind of like crab or lobster meat, where they're kind of strandy and sinewy.
Yeah.
Flavor wise, they're very, very mild and extremely porous. So they remind me of tofu when you cook with them, because they're going to soak up the flavors of everything you cook with it. So, if you're doing a stir fry with veggies, all that veggie juice is going to soak up into there. Or we like to bread them and make boneless wings out of them, right? And you can soak all that buffalo sauce in there. And it's kind of taking a healthy food and making it a little bit unhealthy, but damn, are they delicious.
I mean, you guys, how many different varieties now of mushrooms do you guys have? Or are you guys producing?
So we do 2 seasons. In the summer, we're growing 6 different varieties, and then in the winter, we're doing 7 different varieties.
Okay.
And it kind of just shifts based on our chef's taste, and we're dialing things in. One of our species that we've been growing over the summer, we're probably not going to bring back next summer, because as much as people have enjoyed it at the market, our chefs aren't really using it as much.
Yeah.
So we really are catering to the needs of our primary client, which is chefs. What do they want in the kitchen? What flavors are they looking for?
Yeah.
What qualities are they looking for in a mushroom? We're really looking to meet them on that.
Yeah.
Which is something that big distributors can't really afford to offer any sort of business like that.
Yeah, because it's tough for a larger distribution service to offer that readily available for like you said, because they can't transport them. They don't have
Exactly.
ways of getting it there in good condition. So that's what's different about you guys is that you're local, you're here, and you're available, right?
What I really think is cool is that you have mastered the art of farming.
Yeah.
Like, because yes, there is a business side to what you do, but there's also that aspect of really being in touch with your plants, you
Absolutely.
know, and, you know, and you don't get to step, you know, B if you don't get step A done, you know what I mean? And that's cool that
Exactly.
you've mastered that idea of being able to be scientific with your grow. That's really cool.
Well,
Thank
then
you.
on top of that, right? So beyond the mushroom products that you guys offer, you are also started offering classes, right?
Yes, so we teach a master's mushrooms grow course. It's a full weekend at the farm with us where we teach people the history of human interaction and cultivation of mushrooms, all the different key species and benefits they offer all the way down to the constituent level, and then techniques on how to grow all these different types of mushrooms at home. And it all culminates at the final day where we get everybody into the lab, and we actually have people in the lab doing their own live tissue cultures.
That's
That's cool.
It's a lot of fun for sure, yeah.
Are you guys planning any more courses for this year? Or are you guys kind of...
Yeah. So we have a course coming up October 15th. Yeah, and 16th. October 15th and 16th is our next grow class.
Okay.
And then we're partnering with a local nutritionist here. Her company is called Sprouting Kitchen, and we're doing a cooking class at the farm on the
that's cool.
28th. Yeah, on September 28th, we'll be doing a cooking class teaching people how to cook these mushrooms. Because, as I'm sure as all you know, like that's our number one question people ask: how do I cook this?
do I
It can be a
cook
little
it?
scary to look
Yeah.
at something new and be like, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
Oh, I told my youngest daughter that we were having you on the show today, and she is like a stuffed mushroom fanatic.
Ooh,
So she was
nice.
just
Good
like,
taste.
Dad, yeah, she was just like, Dad, I can't wait till you come home. I can't wait to try all this cool stuff. So
And what's cool though, on top of that, you're also selling grow kits, right? Like you guys sell grow kits
Yes,
for
yeah.
people who want to try.
Yes, and we have my lovely girlfriend, marketing director, Denisha over here. She actually published a let's get a round of applause for her. Holding it down. Behind every quote unquote king, there's a queen, right?
Yeah.
No, but she does amazing graphic work, and she wrote a full PDF guide on how to grow our mushrooms with pictures, instructions, frequently
nice.
asked questions. Because again, that's even more imposing for folks. They're like, well, I don't know how to cook it, let alone
Yeah.
grow it at home.
Yeah.
It's really simple, fortunately. We've really made it easy for folks, made it kind of foolproof, where all you need is a spray bottle with some good clean water, and you're good to go. You don't need anything fancy to keep these going.
Nice.
Well, cool. Real quick though, before we run out of too much time,
Yeah.
on this, where can we find you?
Okay, so you can shop online anytime, 24/7, nmfungi.com, and we have pickup currently about twice a week with potentially more offerings. And then we are at the rail yard markets down in Morelos here in downtown Albuquerque every Sunday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., although we usually sell out by about 1. So if you're coming to see us at the farmer's market, definitely
there
come
early.
early. Heck yeah.
How long does that run till?
Through the end of October.
Okay, so you
yeah.
guys still have some. If you're here in the Albuquerque area, you've still got time to come in and meet Stavi and purchase
Get
some of
some
these
mushrooms,
delicious
yeah.
mushrooms. Do you have a list of how many restaurants are you guys in?
So currently we're in I want to say 6 or 7 restaurants.
Nice. That's cool.
It's quite a big list here. So we have Vernon's, Debajo, Gambe Wellness, Los Poblanos, Plant-Based Cafe, and then occasionally to smaller pop-up vendors as well. So
Okay. Cool,
6 main ones.
Nice. All right. Well, we'll make sure to put that information with the video in case, and a link obviously to your website.
Thank you.
And thanks for being on the show, man. We really appreciate it.
The pleasure's all mine, guys. Thank you. Yeah.
And so if you guys want to hear more, because we're going to talk a little bit more, because I think we still have a few questions about everything Stavi's doing, you can check it out on Patreon. If you want to help support us and also get a little bit more information about this episode, for sure, check us out there. And if not, then we'll see you guys next week. Make sure to check out Stavi and NM Fungi, all right?
Thanks, so.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Make sure you guys also check us out. Like, follow, and subscribe at Off the Reservation podcast. Cool.
catch you guys on the flip side.
Everybody give Mr. Stevie a Stavi goodbye.
Stop it.